seeing if whenever y'all are ready. Blaine, you want to start it off? Your movie?
Yeah. So week four, I have chosen 2002's The Count of Monte Cristo. When I was kind of referring to it last week, I just love this movie because I feel like it has everything. You've got your adventure aspect, your revenge, your action, your drama, some comedy in there, but it feels like it for me. It just ticks every single box, and I didn't think I was gonna like it because I'm not a huge fan of like old timey type movies, but this one really, really takes the cake for me. So, yeah, just getting us started off. Who would like to go first and share their thoughts on the movie?
I can. What a banger! What a fucking banger! It's so good. I honestly I can't wait to watch it again. Like you said, it's got all the aspects of like just everything. It's got the treasure, which was awesome. It's got love, heartbreak. The what this man went through. What he was there like 13 years or something.
13
Mm-hmm.
years, man.
Yep.
Ooh, man, wow! In the cold, dark fucking box. Woo! Props to him.
And his cell was small.
Yeah,
Like it was real
Mm-hmm.
small.
like we'll get to it later, but when he like went to old boy's cell, I was like, dude, this
Oh
dude's got
man.
it hooked up, man. He's got like a chair, a
He got a
table.
chair.
Yeah. It was it. I liked it a lot. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess I'll go next, man. Same thing. So the only thing I could think of after, so I watched it twice this week because, like, first time, first watch, you always miss some details.
Mhm.
But it was so good. Like, truly, I felt like I owed it to myself to go back and watch it. And so I watched it a couple, like, day ago, I think. Um, but so good. There's a reason, you hear certain names throughout literature, the Count of Monte Cristo, Three Musketeers, Homer's The Odyssey. Like, there's a reason you hear about these stories, even if you've never read them. You're somewhat familiar with them, or at least you've heard the names of them. I can totally see why this one. So I even, before we kind of got started here, I pulled up just the Wikipedia article on the Count of Monte Cristo, and it was written by the same dude who did the Three Musketeers. Uh, yeah, French writer Alexandre Dumas. Dumas. Um, Same with the Man in the Iron Mask. But yeah, man. Uh, this story's been repeated, I'm sure, countless times. There's obviously several iterations of the movie, but
Mhm.
again, I know I keep saying this about all of our film lists, but I'm almost mad that this is the first time I've watched it since now. Even the black and white film, it's like, if this is this good, it's got, like you said, everything: love, betrayal, piracy, swashbuckling, treasure, like you name
Mhm.
it. This movie has it. I wish I would have gone back and watched it years ago, but excellent, excellent pick.
Awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, I am the same way. I have like 5 pages of notes. Like I fucking fell in love with the movie like right
Mm-hmm.
away, and I only got to. I think it's 2 hours, and how long is it, Brian? 2 hours and what?
It's actually an hour and 50-ish minutes.
Oh, okay. So I watched. I must have only watched 30 minutes of it or something, and I was hooked. But I had to hop off, and then
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to finish it till later. And I had been just jonesing to talk about it, and like I even wrote out on the group text. I was like talking about a scene, and I deleted the whole thing because I was like, I don't know if everybody's seen it yet. I didn't want to ruin it. But like
That's right.
the the sword fighting was so awesome in this movie. Like, I'm so used to like fast editing and shitty fight scenes nowadays. And so when it was like all the swashbuckling sword fights and Guy Pearce was just
Hmm.
so effortless in his sword fighting, it was so awesome. Like, I couldn't
Mm.
get over how much I enjoyed it. What made you watch that movie, Blaine?
I honestly can't remember. I don't know if it was someone told me about it or I just like randomly looked at it one day, but it may have just randomly popped up on TV. We're thinking 2002. It may have just been on like TVS or something like that, and I watched it. But I don't know. I remember sitting there and I was just like, I'll give this a try. And I started watching it, and I just like got sucked deeper and deeper into it. Like the first 20 minutes are kind of slow. It's building it up, but like, dude, for some reason, once I saw that prison scene, like I was immediately hooked. I was like, holy crap!
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about the small room, and then he goes into the other prisoner's cell. Like just that whole aspect of that was just super cool. And then everything after that, yeah, I honestly cannot remember how I even heard about it, but ever since I watched it, I've seen it probably about 20 some odd times. It's one of those movies that I watch. I like Colby mentioned a couple episodes ago. It's one of those where I can fall asleep to as well. There's a lot of dark scenes. So that's another one. It's just like kind of a quiet, chill movie. But yeah, I honestly could not tell you how I first heard about this movie.
Mm-hmm. That scene, uh, I'm probably jumping around because I just have so much I want to talk about, but that scene when he's in his prison cell and the priest comes through the floor, I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Hmm.
Because
Just the
uh,
it
fear
takes
on
you
his face. He's like, "Am I hallucinating this shit? What is going on?"
because it takes you a little bit to see what is coming up, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then it's a fucking old man, and I was like, "This movie's incredible. I don't know what's happening, but I love it."
And he's just so nonchalant about it. He's just like, "Don't
oops,
be afraid. I've gone the wrong way."
Yeah. So I don't know, and maybe I'm sure we all picked up on this, but first watch, like, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. A baby Henry Cavill,
Yeah.
like he's the son, and it's like, okay, what a treat. Of
I
course,
didn't
you
realize
got a
that was
boy.
him until like at the very end, and I was like, "Is that fucking old boy
I
Superman?"
it act I was kind of the same way. Actually, it was the sewer scene where Luigi and all of his buddies kidnap him and tie him up in the catacombs. And I had to pause it. I'm like, wait a second. And I actually like started it over. I'm like, I got to see his face better. And then like the moonlight kind of hits him, and you see his chin, like a little dimpled chin, and it's like, oh my god, that's like a 16-year-old like Henry Cavill, like what, how awesome. Um
Yeah.
I get
I
a text from
and
noticed.
Phil out of nowhere, and he just goes, "Is this a fucking baby Henry Cavill?" I was just like, "Yes." I was waiting for someone to text me about this.
well, and instantly, as soon as once you get a good look at him, and really for me, as soon as you heard his voice, like you're saying, Jesse, when old man priest pops his head up out of the prison floor, dude, that's Dumbledore from Harry
Mhm.
Potter
I didn't
2
know
and
that.
on.
Yep.
That's Albus Dumbledore from the Harry Potter movies, and I guarantee you,
Whoa!
and the only reason I bring this up is because, help me out with his name, Jim
Caviezel.
Caviezel. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
so Jim
Mhm.
Caviezel, he stars in this. Uh, shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Who's Christopher Nolan's brother? Jonathan?
Yeah,
Is it
Jonathan.
Jonathan Nolan?
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Nolan did this show produced by J.J. Abrams back in the 2010s, which me and Steffi are just randomly currently watching through. Person of Interest is the name of the show, but we just
Okay.
reached an episode. Jim Caviezel is the main character of the show, which he looks totally different between Monte Cristo and this show. You're talking roughly about a decade, so didn't recognize him at first, especially without the beard. But in this episode, a school kid is reading The Count of Monte Cristo, and they do this
Oh,
whole Easter egg, like ha ha ha, like it's like holy shit, that was for me a moment of that's him, like so yeah, just seeing him pop up and stuff. You got Dumbledore, and then finally Luis Guzman of
Yes.
all
The
people.
man.
The
Like,
man.
Jacopo. Yup.
I instantly I'm like, waiting. You did Count of Monte Cristo, and then you did Waiting. Like how
The goat.
polar opposite, but still great. I just got to throw that out there. Talk about range of a character, like amazing. Just
Yeah.
that's all I want to say about the casting. Spot on, amazing. Couldn't have picked it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when he washes up, when Jim Caviezel washes up on the beach, and he like starts running, sees all the pirates over there, and then they're like, "We're gonna have you kill or or a knife fight, I guess,
Yeah.
our man over here." And I saw him laying on the sand, and I was like, and I paused it, and I was like, "Is that fucking Luis Guzman?" Yeah, he looks so
Yeah,
young.
Oh, God.
I had to do the same thing. I'm like, wow. So he can act. He's not just picking up roles and being his goofy bastard self. Which again, I love me some Luis Guzman. I just never seen him in a classic, Three Musketeers story. That I mean, last place I would expect to see the guy, but I mean, yeah, what a treat. I mean, the casting of this movie was just a treat throughout. It's like, who are you going to see next?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I really like. I thought that Jim Caviezel was so good in it, but then like Guy Pearce, every time he's on screen, that dude
Mm.
is despicable, dude, and he does it
I
so
just want to
well.
punch him.
Me too.
Yeah,
I thought he did it so well. Like he is just such a good villain, and I don't
Yeah.
think I don't remember him playing like a straight villain before. He's had like darker roles, but I was super impressed with him for sure.
yeah.
Just that, honestly, just the poshness of like, he's just like, oh, I'm come from class and blah, blah, blah. And like, he just felt like he could do anything. And just like his teeth always just kind of out and everything. I
Oh
wanted to punch him in
God,
his
yes.
smug face every single time he popped
Definitely
out, dude.
has like the most punchable face in the movie. Like every time he comes on screen,
Oh,
you're just like, God.
so yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of want to start at the beginning of this film, and talk
Yes.
about like what caused Desmond to go to prison. And that was, I mean, obviously, it kind of comes down to one thing. It was jealousy. Like, Mondego was extremely jealous. And I kind of loved and hated that. I mean, I'm not going to say I hated it. I love that he said it because, I mean, Desmond came from a poor family.
Mhm.
He literally came from nothing. And yet he was extremely happy. He had a beautiful woman, which, Mondego also wanted. So whenever he finally, like, they're sword fighting in his house, like, he's asking for his help, and he flat out says, oh God, what does he say? Hold on, I got it here. Uh, oh, so he said, because you're poor, loved, and happy, and why should I be jealous of your life when I have, my status? And that right there shows like you could have anything in the world, everything, and you could still want more. And like, dude was happy with what he had, and this guy just wanted to ruin his life
He
because
couldn't
of it.
stand it. Like
Couldn't stand
the quote that kind of sticks out for me was literally at the beginning where they pull into port. Uh, Edmond Dantès, he just gets word that he's going to get promoted to captain.
it.
And of course, Guy Pearce's character, Mondego, is mad as hell about it, jealous, and whatever, they're still getting themselves together, kind of getting themselves organized. And Mondego, Guy Pearce, is off with Dante's old lady, and he's all like, "Make love to me," and she's kind of just throwing him off, like, "Nah, like you've been trying this since we were kids, and no, I'm in love with Dante's," and she says the quote was, remember, because she asked for an answer, why, why won't you make love to me, why won't you just sleep with me or whatever, and she goes, do you remember when you were 10 and Edmond got a whistle and you got a pony, and he was more happy with that whistle than you were with that entire horse. And that's why I love Edmond. It's
Yeah.
because he's happiest with the most simple things, and literally throughout the entire film. I mean, obviously, we'll get to it, but for the beginning part, like you said, Guy Pearce's character, he just couldn't stand Edmund being happy, couldn't stand that he worked hard to get to where he was, to be promoted to captain, a promotion he earned. It wasn't just given to him. Dude couldn't fucking stand it. And it's like jealousy through and through is what sent him to prison. It wasn't the letter from
Napoleon.
Napoleon, it wasn't any of the reasons that he was fed, and eventually he put it together almost a decade into being in prison. He figured it out, but it's like, yeah, jealousy completely destroyed this guy's life. But, as we will discuss, he was kind of reborn from all that hell that he went through.
Yep.
I thought it was
Alright,
I thought it was a very beautiful film. Like there were so many scenes that I like paused the movie to look at, like when they would frame them up and
Yeah.
all the points and the ships. I can't remember. I think it was there a night scene with fog and there's a guy out on a rock, I think. I thought that
Yeah.
was like gorgeous. Like everything was so beautiful. I don't know where it was filmed, but it was amazing looking.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the costume designs were fantastic as well. Like I loved
Yeah.
everything that they were wearing. I mean, you could see like he was obviously in rags whenever he got off that ship, but even when he like, comes back to port with Jacopo, and kind of goes around asking the family or the people that he used to know, like what about Desmond. He's in this like kind of cloak get up, and I just thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that was
But
awesome.
yeah, I gotta
Side
talk, we gotta
note,
talk more about the prison scene. Sorry, dude, go ahead. My bad.
no, I mean, just has nothing to do with anything. But can we start making cloaks regular,
Dude,
like normal
I
attire
know.
again?
I think we
Mhm.
talked about this
please.
like
Because
a week or two
yeah,
ago. Like, I am
yeah,
down.
like especially they're just so classy. They're warm. But yeah, I'm not going to take up too much of our time. I just want to say, let's bring back cloaks, fellas. It's time.
Agreed. Let's
100%.
do it.
Yeah.
Here it is. I want a cloak with the sword, man. Who doesn't want that? Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, the prison. So starting off, when he gets there, like first off, like Jesse said, that shot, you have this huge prison on an island with just lit up by
Chateau
torches.
d'If.
That frontal shot of that prison, like you just like, oh god, this is literally hell right here. Um, when he's pleading to the warden, saying, I'm an innocent man, and the warden just looks at him and says, I know you're telling the truth. Because people who, weren't telling the truth, they wouldn't be here. This is where people put their shame. And just that realization, he's just like, fuck, this guy knows I'm
Yeah.
innocent, and yet he's still gonna chain me up in here for however long. And like I know he didn't have any sympathy, but man, the fact that he's just like, listen, you're gonna lose time in here. So we have a way of like helping that, and we're just gonna come around every single year and just beat the shit out of you.
What
And it's
a
like, can
piece
you
of
imagine
shit.
that? Dude,
Yeah.
every single year you just get completely demolished by this whip. Like
Yeah.
he did that for
And
13 years, man. 13 years he got whipped like that.
tell me you can remember. Now, granted, this is probably towards the later part of his popularity in his career, but and again, just looking at the IMDb page here, Michael Wincott, the
Yeah.
bad guy who's the warden. He's got that voice, that
Yeah.
just that voice that, dude, the
From The
Crow.
Crow. Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. I mean, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, okay, so this is the kind of bad guy we're dealing with. Just put him in a, French period piece movie and make him the warden of a prison. totally, I mean, again, just couldn't have picked a better character actor for the role of the warden. But just like you're saying, and the same thing, I mean, I watched that movie twice so far. Definitely plan to watch more of it. But when he just walks in and he's just rolling up his sleeves, and yeah, just so you don't forget, we make it a point to come around on the anniversary of your imprisonment and beat the shit out of you. And it's like, what a nice guy. Like,
Yeah, classy.
yeah, like this is what we're in for. Like, holy God. But also, I'm not alone here. It's not getting too far off course, but when you see a rapier in a movie, it's probably going to be awesome. Like, what is
Yeah.
it about, the sword play, like you're saying, from the moment where Edmund gets betrayed, and he's coming to Guy Pearce for help. Like, hey, they're trying to take me to prison. And Guy Pearce, like, the point you brought up, Jesse, that scene where he's just slicing him up in the main room, and he's like, why? He's begging his friend, like, why are you doing this? And Guy Pearce is just like, well, because you're you, and you're living a better life than me, and we can't have that. And it's like, okay, well, okay, sure. I knew, not even seeing the rest of the movie at that point, he's going to prison, but when he gets out, you are so screwed, and it's going to be awful. Like, I hope you're ready for that. So yeah, just freaking awesome.
Like you said, if there's a rapier in a movie, it's going to be awesome. I said something similar on my notes. I just drew a tricorn hat, and I was like, anytime there's a tricorn hat, a musket, it's going to be awesome. And as soon as I saw people in tricorn hats, I was like, I cannot wait to watch this movie. It's going to be so awesome.
Yeah. The opening scene when they're on the beach and they're getting shot at by the British soldiers, and they're just sitting there dodging bullets on the rock. I'm like, this movie, I already know it's just going to be great. Like, the costumes, the muskets. Yeah, two dudes like just manhandling a couple Brits, like tossing them, because they're swarming that rock trying to imprison them, and they're just like, fuck you, I'm like, okay. Like, I remember having too much to drink at one point in my life as a young man and being in similar situations, just less guns. Jesse, I'm pretty sure you were there.
I was. When he comes up through when the priest comes up through the prison floor, was his last name? What was his last name? Was it Angel?
It was Abbas
Faria.
Abe Ferreira. Faria. Faria.
That whole, like, him coming up through the floor and then pretty much being like, I will teach you everything, economics, math, literature, and then eventually swordplay if you just help me dig. And like it ties into my entire interpretation of the movie, but the God will give me my justice on the wall. And then as he like carves it deeper and then eventually quits carving it because he loses his faith, and then that just completely ties into the ending for me and my interpretation of the movie. So it was really good payoff for me because I was like, okay, it sucks this dude's so upset and pissed off, and rightfully so, and he lost his faith. But then it's like everything that unfolds after that is just so satisfying and justified. And you're just like, I cannot wait to see this dude get what he deserves,
I had a similar feeling of like this man had all this faith, he's waiting for God to, fix this, and you can see it leave him, like you said, that he quits carving in the wall. And I like that. I mean, it sucks that he lost faith, but I mean, this man has just been through hell, and I'm just glad that they kept that, or they wrote it that way. Because you would be like that. You'd be like, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yep.
I'm getting my revenge, And even whenever they find that treasure, um, he's like, "Hey, man, we got all this gold. All your troubles are gone. You know, we can just leave." And he's like, "No, I'm getting my revenge." Like, he's like, "Okay, I'll go
Mhm.
there. I'll kill him." And we'll. He's like, "No, that's not good enough."
How is this a bad plan?
Yeah, because well, he even warns the priest, because the priest basically, with his dying breath, after he gets crushed in the cave in, he gives him that map to Monte Cristo and says, "There's a treasure there. Go
Yeah,
find it." And he tells him straight up, like, "No, I will surely," because the priest says, "Do not become
I
what is
got it.
it? Do not become captive to." Yeah, go ahead.
I got it right here. I have the quote right here if you want it. So it says, he says, "Do
Yeah,
not
shoot
commit the
it.
crime for which now you serve the sentence. God said,
Mhm.
vengeance is mine."
Mhm.
Sorry,
Hmm.
just want to
and
throw it in. You
and
continue your thing. I just
Yes,
want to throw that
thank
in.
you for so I don't
Yeah.
misquote it. But yeah, and that and what his response? He says, "No, I will surely use it for revenge." And the
Mhm.
priest keeps telling him, "Don't do it." And even the act of like not redemption, but like I guess the priest's one final gift to the guy, his actual like his dead body. He swaps places with the priest in the sack, and that whole scheme. I mean,
Oh,
it was so tense because he's sitting there right underneath the floor. I can imagine like holding the floorboard or that stone up, in place just long enough to listen to the conversation. And as soon as you hear him leave, like he just jumps out of there and pulls his dead friend out of that sack, and like
Mhm.
that whole sequence of events all the way up until he gets tossed out. And to me, when I was watching that whole scene unfold, he sinks to the bottom. He manages to get the key, unlock his feet and swim up and take his first breath of fresh, free air. To me, that represented rebirth, like he was
Mhm.
born, born again. Because I mean, he went from this shell of a man who had at least 6 years more worth of digging to get free, and now, by random happenstance and a little bit of planning, he's now actually free. But what's the first thing he does with his first act of freedom? He kills the warden. He turns around, he looks behind him, and the warden's sitting there like trying to climb back up the wall or whatever. And he's like, "Nope, can't let this guy live." And it's like, oh, okay. It's like,
Yeah.
damn. So this, but I mean, really kind of solidifies where his mind's at, though. Like, yeah, he's free, and the priest did tell him where the treasure is, but damn well, no matter what happens, no matter what anybody says, he's out for revenge. Like, he's
Yeah.
not gonna stop until which again, can you blame the guy? I mean,
hell
13
no.
years in a hole, getting the
Mhm.
shit beat out of you, being starved. I mean, no, I'd probably be right there myself.
And
yeah.
when I was watching it and the tunnel collapsed on the priest, and then he ends up swapping bodies with him, I thought that was, or swapping places. I thought that was so fucking awesome. Like I was like so into it, and
Brilliant.
it was like I picked up on it like probably just
BRB, guys.
a couple seconds right before he did it, and I was like, "This son of a bitch is gonna swap with him," and he did, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking cool!" And then the tension of I was like, "Oh, he'll be fine. They'll chuck him off the cliff. He'll make it in the water." They put a chain around him, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "How's he gonna
Oh
get out
shit.
of it?"
I know we're kind of
Dude, oh,
bouncing here, but I wanted to talk about like when he's in prison. I loved it so much. Like we already said, like the training and him learning, and the work that they did. What was it like? They tunnel like a foot a month or something.
yep.
Yeah,
Three
it's
inches,
Crazy.
3 inches a month, I believe. Yeah,
mhm.
Wow. That. I mean, you ain't got nothing else to do, so I mean, it's keeping you busy. But
exactly.
whew, And then like they take the wood off the door, and he teaches them how to sword fight. Super cool. Just
Mhm.
just him learning, and you can kind of start to see what he's about to become. It's super cool.
Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
awesome.
So I
Well,
wanted to talk about all this stuff as well as like one thing that I loved on top of it is that the first thing he does when he gets into his cell is like, can you put me up on your shoulders? And he just stares at the sky
he
and he
wants
flat
to
out
see
says
the
like, that's the
sky.
first time I've seen the sky in 10 years. Thank you for this.
Yeah.
Something so small, like he just needed a boost.
Mhm. Well,
And
and
just
he was almost kind of anxious about it. Remember,
Mhm.
he saw the sky, and then he started to have like a mini panic attack because he's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I need to get down. I need to get down. Like you could, I mean, yeah, not seeing the sky for 10 years and then seeing it, I bet. Like I could only imagine. And not to interrupt you, I am sorry. Along the same lines, when he first breaks through the earth and he asks them, what is it? Dante says there are, you know, 3,271 stones in my cell. And then the old man goes, but have you named them yet? And then he just
Yeah,
breaks, he's like, "Eh." I'm like, oh,
Yep.
yeah. It's
you
like, it's okay.
you
It's
realize like,
okay.
holy shit, like you're not even there
Yep.
yet, buddy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you're not even to the hard part yet, but it's gonna be fine. And he's trying to give him a pep talk. He is just like,
Yep.
it's like, dude, already been there for like at least 8 years at that point. Like, oh
Yep.
my god, like, can't imagine. Can't. I mean,
no,
what kind of hell? I mean, poor fucking guy is all I could think the whole
Yeah.
time.
So I actually had that in my notes as well, and I was going to talk about that. 72,519 stones. But yeah, the same exact thing. He's like, but have you named them yet? Like that, I wouldn't even thought about that. And this guy's just like, I've I've named every single one of my stones. That's one thing I was going to talk
Hmm.
about as well. But Jesse, you were talking about God, and one thing that really struck with me, he's just like the first time he strings him up about to lash him, he said I will always believe in God. And he's like, God does not belong or is not here. And he said, you know what? When God intervenes, I will stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
just
When
that
God
finish
line
the
shows
was
up,
lashing.
yep.
that line was
whoa,
Like that was
chilling
such a hard fucking line. Yeah, like you said, it dug at me like whenever he said that.
because
But yeah, I
it's
love that.
already so painful that he's getting whipped essentially on his new birthday. You know, every
Hmm.
day or every year he gets whipped, and that was just to think about that. Like, it's so sad to think about. And then when he's like, "Well, I'm gonna strip your body, but now I'm gonna strip your faith," and I was just like, "What a fucking piece of shit, dude! You can't even give
Hmm.
this guy some solace in like faith." And then I don't know. It just pissed me off. So like when you see the priest and the priest has kind of got his shit together because he's done it for so long, it gives you some kind of relief. You're like, thank God, there's somebody else here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
Exactly. And
then
I think that
by
was
the
one thing that, oh, go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, by the end, I don't know if you noticed, but like the last time it shows him getting whipped, it's like he doesn't even care. He doesn't even
Yeah.
feel it at that point. He's just
Mhm.
hanging from the chains, like, just another freaking
Yeah.
day, you know. Like I'm
I
just
like to
like,
think he's like thinking about his studies.
well, and
yeah.
he probably is, like, because at
Did
that
three
point
inches
he's learning
today?
the sword play, like, and I
Because
agree, like that whole movie is phenomenal, but something about the whole prison stretch, like from beginning to end, it's that I I mean, yeah, more than anything, I think that portion of the movie stuck with me the most because it was the most it's how he became who he was. It's how he became the Count of Monte Cristo and was able to seek his revenge and like uh yeah don't really have much to say about the prison scene other than it was probably my favorite part of the entire movie.
Hmm. And
it was mine
Mercedes
as well.
is a fucking smoke show.
Oh,
Whoo! Yes,
well,
sir.
even was it Villafort? He even looks at Mondego and says, "I see why you want to betray him now."
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
and
The
she's cold. The way she like
um,
digs at Guy Pearce's character at the end, like in just subtle ways where she just like, I knew, basically saying, I knew I've always been too good for you. You know, you're just kind of a little man. And I don't know, just the way those two characters, their chemistry on screen. And you could just tell, like, at certain points, Guy Pearce's character, like, his eye would twitch whenever she would talk. And it's like, oh, like that struck a nerve. Whatever she just said,
Mhm.
that hurt right there. And it's like, well, Guy, you deserve it. You're a giant asshole in this movie.
And also, like, Guy Pearce doesn't want to just covet the things you have. He wants to destroy the things you have. Like, he doesn't care that he has it now. He just wants it gone.
Yeah, he's your classic. I mean, saying he's a narcissist is far too simple for what ails this character, but like he is just the most narcissistic person you could all. I mean, I'm sure we could think of tons of examples over all the movies we've seen, but like really, if you're talking classic literature, probably one of the most narcissistic characters there is. He is just the pinnacle of if I can't have it, no one's going to. And even if I do have it, it's mine to do with what I wish. So I might as well just destroy it so that nobody else can even look at it. You know what I mean? He's just such a slimy piece of shit. Really.
so we talked about the escape, and I also want to mention I love that the random nickname they gave him after he defeated Jacopo Zatara.
Latana
And he's like,
Driftwood.
oh, you sound very dashing. He's like, it means driftwood. The fact that after they find the treasure, and he starts buying everything up. We talked about Jacopo going to the man's land with was a carriage full of jewels. He immediately, he doesn't waste any time. He just dives right in. He sends out these invitations, and what a fucking party! He literally shows up on this big ass
In a
balloon.
balloon.
It's the coldest fucking entrance I've ever seen. Just walks up and says, "Welcome," and then just walks away. Like seriously, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Plus, his whole look, the suaveness of like the cape flowing out and everything with his new haircut and whatnot. Like it was great. And the fact that one thing I really want to talk about is that he's looked at all these people in the face countless times throughout the movie. And the
And they
one
don't
person
recognize him.
immediately knew who he was Mercedes. Like she couldn't believe it. But as soon as she looked at that man, she knew who it was. And he kept
And
denying it, and even her just, I mean, we'll talk about this in a second, but yeah, just that aspect alone, just like the love was always there, no matter what. Like no matter what was going on, like she remembered him, and she was like
well,
always going to be with them.
and one thing, and again, we'll progress to most of this here, but like Mercedes, you're right. The love never left. And later, when it's revealed that uh, Albert, Henry Cavill, is really Edmund's son, um, it makes sense. Given the time period of when all of this is supposed to take place, because he asks her that night in the carriage when she kind of corners him in the carriage after the party, and she's like, Edmund, Edmund, and he keeps trying to throw her off, like, no, I'm not this Edmund you speak of. And she gets all pissed off and is like, no, stop it, you can't lie to me, like I know who you are. um and later it's revealed, like, because he asks her, how long did you wait for me before you married uh Mondego? And she doesn't give an answer, but we know it's relatively soon, probably less than a year later. And you can't really blame her, just given the time period, because she was already pregnant with Edmund's son. And, back then, women out of wedlock having kids, I mean, it would have destroyed her entire social status. So at first I was kind of like, when they were initially having that conversation, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of with Edmond. I'd be pretty pissed too. Like, how long did you wait? But then her response is, well, that's not fair. And if you really stop and think about it, well, she didn't really have much of a choice if she wanted to live any kind of life and not basically, I mean, back in those days, you could have been a seamstress, you could have been a whore, you could have been a barmaid, not a whole lot of options in terms of work. So yeah, don't really blame her. But this whole movie is kind of one big gray area, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? There's a lot of wrongs that are technically right. Mainly it's just poor Edmund getting screwed over by a jealous dickhead, but a very complex story. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like one of those situations. What would you do if you were in that situation?
When he finds the treasure, there's like, I felt it like put something in you that you have when you're a kid and you think about finding buried pirate treasure. And
Yeah, dude.
it made me so giddy to see it. And it's just like, I always pictured that as a kid, like finding pirate treasure like that. And I thought that was so cool.
Hell yeah. And the fact that he, on top of that, Jesse, is that he had to dive down into this like really cool looking cove. And he finds it there. And like, yeah, he just like, it always cuts to the scene where they're like, the next scene is them just like throwing it and going crazy. Like, I would do the same thing. But yeah, that was the same exact thing for me. Just like, I've always wanted or had that fantasy of finding treasure like that. And like, that was the coolest thing ever. And like he even said, like, there's 8 more boatloads that we can bring into us. Like, we don't have to worry about it at all. I really want to talk about this because I want to get you guys' take on it. So Albert goes to Rome at 16. What did you guys think of the whole party? Because I don't remember what festival it was that they were attending, but like that just looked like so much fun, running through the streets in mask and whatnot. And of course, he's got this hottie that comes up to him for other reasons. But how cool would it have been to go to Rome and at that age with just your pals and just run around the streets of Rome at a huge party?
Dude, it'd been so cool. It was like a classic ass Mardi Gras. It was like, it was so cool. And when he I'm actually mixing scenes up, but it made me think when it came down in that air balloon, I was like, holy crap. I was like, this movie's so extravagant in the best way.
It is.
That party, it was sick.
Yeah. I mean, at 16, let's see, Rome, late 1800s. I mean, I can only imagine, I don't know, booze, partying, fireworks, girls. Like, I don't know, what kind of trouble would a 16-year-old boy going to Rome get into at that time? And again, they kind of, I love the scene that happens just before Henry Cavill is in Rome, which is, your mom said no, so he asked your dad. And the dad, of course, says, well, I don't give a shit what you do. And of course, mom's now pissed, but dad doesn't care, So it's like, I don't know. A lot of character buildup in that scene where the 2 separate staircases, which were common back in big houses back in those days, which, the husband used one staircase, the wife used the other. But when they come, like, they're standing on those little balcony areas, and he openly admits, like, yeah, I cheated on you, but, no big deal. We've been through this multiple times before. And now that there's no expectations of me being committed to you, like, it's probably going to happen again. And so you get kind of this idea, like, their marriage fucking sucks, man. Like,
Dude,
I mean, she's sticking around strictly for Henry or Albert, but like, holy crap, dude! Like, there is not one redeemable feature about Guy Pearce. Like, you want to think, okay, they raised a good son. He treats her good. Like, no, every scene that Guy Pearce shows up in, he's just a terrible person. And it's like, well, okay, like, I'm
So-
kind of glad for Edmond.
I'm gonna throw this in because you say every single scene, and like one of the scenes that he wasn't even in that also added to that is Albert's birthday party. Like they're all around the table. He's waiting for his dad to come and make a toast. And the son of a bitch couldn't even do that. So Mercedes, she stands up. She's like, it's left to, and
Edmund swoops in
Edmund
and-
pops up. He's like, to introduce myself and give this amazing speech to him. And like, I didn't know this the first couple times, but you know, Albert is actually crying when he's given that speech. And it's like, and then like, you know, once you find out later on, okay, like you said, you know, we find out that Edmund is actually his father. It kind of makes it even better. Like his real dad actually did give his speech about being a man, and just made it hit so much more. I wanted to see if you guys want to throw any last thoughts in before we move into the revenge part of this, the whole revenge part of the movie, because I just thought like the way everything folded together was amazing.
Only thing I had was Brian said there were no redeeming aspects of Guy Pearce. I agree, except for his sword skills and his hair. His hair was awesome.
His hair was pretty.
I thought his hair
great.
fucking sucked. Everything about him, I just wanted to fucking stab. I will say, what's his name?
No.
Jacopo?
Jacopo.
Jacopo. There you go.
Yeah.
Fucking French. I'm so glad that he was like this,
Damn it, dude.
that you can trust this guy. Like I was waiting for him to like backstab him at some point. I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna steal the treasure. Like, oh fuck, he's gonna warn the people or something, because multiple times he tried to tell him like, hey man, like let it go, like, you know, move on from this. And I was like, oh, but he hung in there like a true fucking wingman, and it just made my heart so happy. What a great character.
Yeah, I completely agree. He had like he was like trying to talk him out. Like I wrote in here, I said I respect Luis Guzman's character for trying to stop Cristo from getting revenge. Like, all the time. And I respected that because he was like, I like laughed and thought it was so sincere that he was like, you don't have to go kill those people. I'll go kill those people.
Kill them real quick. Little poke.
We'll be done.
Get out of
the
here.
hell out of here. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We're gone. No big deal.
That's right.
Like,
And
no,
the fact,
what
like,
a...
honestly,
Oh, yeah, go ahead, dude.
I was gonna say, like, it all goes back to whenever he does beat him. He's like, I'm your man for life. Like, he wasn't joking.
No.
He constantly checked on him. Like, you know, he thought he fell out of the bed, and he's just like, you know, are you okay? After seeing all the slashes on his back.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Like, he checked on him like constantly. He was worried about him, and then also, you know, Edmund snapped at him a couple times, and he brushed it off. He's just like, you know what? He gets it. Take him with him no matter
take
what.
it
Like, that was it.
personally. Yeah. I mean,
Like,
and
he's like, I'm your man, and that's it. End of story. You can throw whatever you want at me. I'm not leaving you.
when Jacopo swears himself to Edmund after the knife fight, you know, he straight up tells him, I swear on my dead relatives and the relatives that maybe don't feel so good right now, that I will be your man for life. But like, that's how you know he, like, look, I swear on not only my dead whatever, but even the relatives that I still got that might be a little bit closer to death than I would like, I swear on them that I will not break this promise to you. And I'll be, you know, like you were saying, like, dude, I'll be damned. Kudos to Jacopo for never, I mean, under any circumstances, break. And just since we're on that topic, fucking Luigi ends up backstabbing him when the original, remember the old sailor dude that was supposed to be captain that was all butthurt that Edmond Dantès got promoted. He starts robbing the treasure off the ship, and one of the faces that you see in the background helping unload the crates is Luigi, Jacopo's original captain that, you know, made him knife fight or whatever at the beginning. So Luigi's a corrupt bastard, which, okay, yeah, Luigi did him a favor by doing the whole like Albert, let's fake kidnap his ass and tie him up in the catacombs, rough him up a little bit type of thing. But then right after, it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and stab our old boy in the back and take some of his gold while we got the chance. Which, okay, yeah, you had the opportunity. Luis Guzman had plenty of opportunity at any point to fuck over Edmond, but he didn't. And so yeah, I just gotta like say a cheers to Luis Guzman's character because truly I don't think you could have asked for a better friend in that situation.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say I think you got that part wrong. With him stealing it, he was actually I think he was one of the ones. So at the end when oh god, when Diego finds it and it's just sand, he's the one that switched it.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, because he was there. He was still running. I thought. Okay,
so yeah,
yeah.
he was still running that original con. Yeah, because it looked like it. I thought the same exact thing. I was just like,
I thought the same
this creepy
thing. But
bastard is stealing from Edmond now. But yeah, I come out find
But
later.
you're right.
He's he. Yeah, and I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, I was thinking that same exact thing when the first time I watched it, and then after a couple watches, I'm like, oh, this is the gold. He's double checking it because he's the one that ends up switching it on him.
So Luigi
yeah,
didn't fuck over Edmond.
No.
Like he was just running a con. Okay, good. Like,
Yeah, he was
knowing
the
that whole crew
amongst them. Yeah, dude, I thought the same exact thing the first time I watched it. Like you said, that's why you got to watch it multiple times because there's so much that
there's a few
that
details
right there
you'll miss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And Jesse, I'm sorry, I think I cut you off, man. Were you gonna say something?
No. I was gonna say. All I was gonna say was when we got to the revenge part, I didn't want to cut too far ahead. I don't know if this really fits in the revenge part or the Mercedes part. It was the fact that I thought that line that he said to her, he said, "Don't rob me of my hate. It's all I've got." I was like,
yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
I was like, that's such a like devastating.
That's a hard line. Yeah.
This might be a little
like,
off, but like that line, you know what it reminded me of instantly?
What?
The scene in damn it, I just had it. Help me out here. The movie about the high school kids, the Wolverines that fight the Russians.
Oh, Red Dawn.
Yeah.
Red Dawn. Thank you. Where the Air Force captain says all that hate is going to burn you up, boy. Because he's sitting there carving how many soldiers he's killed into the buttstock of his AK-47. And he turns around and he says, the hate keeps me warm. And as soon as he said that, don't rob me of my hate, it's all I have. It's like, damn, what? I mean, how broken of a character, it's all when he says it's all he's got, it's the only thing keeping him going at that point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would probably just he doesn't care about the gold. He doesn't care about everything he's been able to accomplish, even just breaking out of prison and getting his freedom back. Dude don't care about any of that. The only thing he cares about is getting his revenge. And it's like, damn, like you almost feel bad for him.
The movie does a great job of like this tension. Like the whole time you want him to get his revenge, and at the same time you're like, God, I hope something doesn't happen to where he doesn't get it. And he pretty much gets it. I mean, he does get it. And thank God, because you want that for him.
Well, and I'm glad you said that. Because I mean, he had already commenced it, right? So with Dangler, he set him up for the stolen goods, where we see him try to sword fight Edmond, and he flat out puts him in a frickin' noose and hangs him off the boat. He's like, cut him down before he can't talk. Cold as hell. And then Villefort confronts him in the bathhouse, just starts cranking up that steam like crazy, and he eventually gets him to admit that he had Mondego shoot and kill his father. So we got those two knocked out. But like you said, Colby, I mean, technically Mercedes did kind of stop that revenge because when she came and, they rekindled their love and everything, he's just like, Jacopo's like, hey, get your shit. He wants to leave the country. And he was going to stop right there, just leave Mondego as it is. And yeah, it's just like, he finally like you said, like that was that one. I guess the hate was gone and love filled it back up. But dude, that part when everything comes all together, he has Mondango cornered. He finally shaved his goatee, so he finally sees who he is.
Yeah, his
He's
whole
literally got him
face.
against the
Yeah.
wall because that, just like you guys talked about the sword fighting. What he did the same exact thing like Mondango did at the beginning of the film. Two tinks had his sword in his hand, had him against the wall, and then
Yep.
fucking Henry Albert comes out of left field and just cuts his sword in half. I'm not sure if you guys caught that the first time.
Yeah.
But I was like, holy shit,
Mhm.
showing some of that Superman strength, cutting the fucking sword in half. And it's just that part right there, like that tension, like we know, and this is the tension that really, really got me, Colby, that you're mentioning. We know that Albert is his son, but he flat out says like, "I will kill you if you do not get out of my way." And like I thought he was actually gonna, because he was about to stab him. Then Mercedes, she comes in and just like, dude, hold up, this is what's really going on. Um, and I don't know, it's just like you see, was it Albert kind of change and Mondango, like again that smug fucking look. He's just like, well, I guess you're okay. Like I can't remember what he says, but like he was still just a prick to this kid he raised for 13 years. And
Yeah.
overall, when
Well,
he
that
when,
the
the last thing I want
line
to say,
that you're.
when he
Oh
talking
yeah.
to I'd say the last thing that really, really got me when they're fleeing is Mondango looks at Mercedes and says, "You know, you pleasured me some of the time," and she just looks at cold hardly says, "You never pleased me." Like that shit was so fucking good.
Yep. And the line where
Go ahead.
Guy Pearce is like, where he's like, oh, because she confesses that Albert isn't uh, Mondago's son. It's Edmund's, or he's Edmund's son, and Guy Pearce just is all like, well, I guess you were as much as a whore now as you were back then, and I'm like, can you just not like? Can you just say one thing in this movie, just one thing that isn't a complete and total dig? Like I'm talking low blow, like, and again, it's his character. I get it. He's this posh, fucking, born from money, just supposed to be better than everybody character, which he plays it off so well. Kudos to Guy Pearce, but God, like even when he was dying, like I wanted to treat him like that printer from Office Space and just stomp the shit out of him. It's like this death is too good for you, dude. You're just a total piece of shit, and there's not anything I
Yeah.
like about you.
I agree. He got
I
off
mean,
too
even on
easy,
top of it,
man.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Too easy. It's just a quick stab
even
and he's gone. It's like whatever, dude. All
he
right,
called him
whatever.
in front of Albert too. It's just like, dude, he's like, your mom's a
That's
whore.
your
I mean,
mom.
but no, that in fight was great because
Mm-hmm.
I the whole sword fighting, because one thing that I noticed is that when they're fighting and Edmund goes like this, that's the same exact move that the priest taught him in the cell. Like you could
Yep.
see all of it coming together. Even when he
When he
lost his sword, motherfucker takes a rock and just chucks it at his ass, and he's like, ah.
Yeah, well, and yeah, the priest. That's what I noticed that too, because it was the move
Yeah.
where he kind of tosses the priest over his shoulder, and then he
Yep.
like back, like stabs behind him, and it's like, yeah, that's the move he practiced 100 times when he was locked in hell, and they were fighting with sticks. But
Yeah.
like
The,
I've never seen a like a training montage like and I keep referencing because I confused this movie with Mask of Zorro, and I love the Mask of Zorro, Antonio Banderas and Anthony
So
Hopkins, doing that whole circle sword training sequence. I gotta say, man, out of all the movies I've ever watched, as far as training, just building character arcs, I can't think of a better movie than this film during the prison sequence. I
yep.
mean, everything he went through from the start, learning how to accept suffering and, the pain and just learning to live with all that crap. And then meeting the priest and literally like scheming his way out of hell, having to work for it through digging that tunnel and learning from the priest day by day. I mean, dude didn't even know how to read or write at the
Yep.
beginning of the film. He was just like, I mean, wow, 13 years of hell. And I don't know. What a payoff. What a great story. Don't have
Yeah,
too much more to say. I mean, it was so
the
good.
the ending for me, like when I finally saw the ending where he's standing out on the cliff's edge and he kind of does some repentance and it shows the close up on the wall, says God will give you my justice,
Mhm.
and everything got reframed for me. I was like, this isn't just like a revenge film, and like this is a like an actual justice film. And it
Yeah.
was like uh the guy that's whipping him was like, I'll stop when God intervenes. And then not long after that, the priest shows up, and then not long after that, he no longer feels the pain anymore. And so it was like that was God's way of intervening in the situation. He's like, I can't stop this, but I can help you be stronger. And so he no longer
Holy
feels that
shit.
pain. And when he's out there on the cliff's edge, and he's like, God will give me my justice. And then it was like righteous wrath. It wasn't revenge to me anymore. It was like, this is justified. Like God, it's like God's vengeance is his. Well, this is God's vengeance, is what I was taking from it. And I really thought it reframed it from a revenge film to just like justice.
Yeah. Dude, you just blew my mind with that because I didn't even think of it that way. Like, yeah, the priest really did intervene and show him the light again, as you said. Like, holy crap, dude. Just blew my freaking mind with that, Jesse. Thank you.
Yeah. I
Dude,
mean,
all over the back wall, everything.
the parallels between, I don't know, Dante's Nine Circles of Hell, the
Yeah.
seven deadly sin. I mean, everything,
Uh-huh.
it shows him descending the staircase into the layers of hell. He goes
Yeah.
through the layers, like you're saying. At first, he starts carving the words into the wall, and then he slowly, over time, just loses it. I mean, can't even
Yeah.
pick up the stone to continue to do what he does every day because there's not shit
Mm-hmm.
else to do when you're
And,
locked in solitary.
and his name Dante's, Dante's Inferno. I
Yep.
thought of the
Dante's
same thing.
Inferno. Yep. And I mean, like, what a great, and again, even when he's wrapped in the sack, how visually it represented. I mean, getting a little film school with it here, but a baby bursting out of the placenta. It was
Mm-hmm.
him bursting out of that sack,
Yeah, rebirth.
being reborn. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was just
Mm-hmm.
one giant euphemism for rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
And but again, you weren't really sure where his character would he find redemption, or would he descend completely into vengeance and evil, because what's the first act he does as soon as he breaks free of the water and
Just
takes his
kill.
first breath? He
Mm-hmm.
fucking murders the warden. And so, I mean,
Yeah. So,
and again, like I said at the beginning, there are certain stories, even if you've never personally read or watched the films, like I said, the Odyssey, um, probably even Gone with the Wind. I mean, there are just certain stories throughout literary history that you hear the names of, and
Mm-hmm.
it's for a reason. There's a reason those stories withstand the test of time, and I can 100%. I mean, in all honesty, they always say the book's better than the movie. If the movie's this good, I got to read the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've read half of it, Colby. What did you think?
It's been a while. Honestly, I don't think I made it quite half. I think I made it. I remember him breaking out of prison, so it's pretty early on. But yeah, I feel the same way. I got to go back and kind of finish that because if the movie's that good, the book has got to be. I actually know Joe. This is Joe's favorite book, my buddy Joe, and he actually does not really care for this movie because he said the book is so much better. Like they leave so much out, of
I believe
course.
it.
But
Yeah.
he actually gave a recommendation if you guys haven't seen, but there's the Count of Monte Cristo, the mini series from 1998.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I have that
I
saved.
didn't.
I
Okay.
haven't seen it, but I have that saved.
And he said that is a lot like the book. He said it's awesome. He said it's subtitled though. So
Since we're talking, just bringing up miniseries, um, the Odyssey, and I'm sure my mount is going away. I'm sure you guys watched this in Mr. Wells's literature class back in high school. But do you remember the miniseries of the Odyssey?
I didn't see
Do you
that.
remember what? Okay, well, maybe we'll put it on our list at some point. It's only like 4 or 5 episodes, but it was made back in 1998, and it is the most accurate depiction of Homer's The Odyssey. And truthfully, I've watched it several times since then. Fantastic. I mean, I'll have to look it up. I'll send you guys the links to it later, but um yeah, just on the lines of just classic literary stories, and kind of what you're saying, Colby. If the miniseries, I found that to be true with a lot of people say that about Dune as well. The Dune miniseries compared to the movies adds so much more, like relative to the books than it does, than versus watching the movie. I don't know if you can say that about the new film. The new film's pretty accurate with Timothy Chalamet, but the old early 2000s, I think it was like 2001, the Dune miniseries that was on Sci-Fi, terrible CGI. If you ever choose to watch it, horrible CGI for the time, but very true to the actual story. So, but yeah, that's good. I definitely want to check out the miniseries if we can find it, because um, it's. I mean, and I think this is true for any of us that have read the book and watched the film or watched the movie. It's hard to translate a lot of stuff from book to film. It's just either a lot of stuff's taking place in the character's head that you can't translate to film unless you're doing some kind of voiceover. So yeah, if they're doing any kind of mini series, I always like to check that out, just because I feel like it gives them room to more time to work with, more time they need to fill. So it's like, let's see how much of the book we can put on film. So anytime there's a mini series, I always like to check that out.
for sure.
But honestly, an incredible pick, Blaine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for real.
I do have one
I'm
more
seriously glad you guys liked it.
one more point. You kind of mentioned it, but whenever he gets his like revenge on Villefort, is that his name? And he gets put in the wagon or whatever, and there's that pistol there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he's gonna shoot himself again, a waste,
He's gonna blow his head off.
And he goes and does it, and it's empty. And then the Count is right there. Like, you didn't think it'd be that easy, right? I was just like, fucking yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It's
like,
you don't get to
I'm
just
so glad
escape
you said
this.
that, dude.
Oh, yes, dude. I was so
happy you
stoked
said
for
that.
him at that. Now imagine, because the first thing I thought of when that happened, it's just the click. You didn't think it'd be that easy, did you? And it's like, dude, if I had 13 years to sit on every single name of every person that wronged me, and the second I got out with infinite monies, you bet your ass I would make every second of your life the most miserable it's ever been.
Yes.
It's like, I don't blame you one bit. Not one bit for that.
Not even a little bit.
That's so good.
Well, yeah, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching it. And yeah, this conversation about the whole film, like it, yeah, you guys now understand why this is one of my all-time favorites, and I have a feeling we're all going to watch it multiple times after this as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even kind of segueing into our next part, what's the big idea? I mean, hell, you have a couple scenes in this one where you could turn it into a game. So Jesse, I don't know
I
about
think
you. If you
so.
want to introduce us to this, what's the big idea of the week?
Yeah. I call this one Cinema to Cartridge. And so you just pick a movie, it can be any movie, and you think that you think would make a great SNES, NES, or Sega game, and describe the genre, like the core mechanics, and like at least one scene from the movie that you think would translate well to a playable level in a SNES or Genesis video game. Um, I can go first then.
Yeah,
This
lay
is
it
such
on
a cool
us.
idea, man. Yeah, take it away.
I had a couple of them, but I'll settle on this one here. I think that if if you took The Incredibles and just put that into a video game from like the SNES era, I think that would be
Mhm.
really awesome. And I would imagine it would be a Super Nintendo game. I could see it being a co-op game, like an action platformer or even a beat 'em up. And then I think it'd be neat that you'd have puzzles in the game that you would have to use one of the four characters to solve that puzzle.
Yeah.
And then you would have like a kind of, you remember like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when the Terror Drome would come down in the video game and you have to like attack it. I was thinking you could do that, or you could even do like a turn-based game where it's like the boss fights are like Final Fantasy, where you have your four characters and you got to pick who does what to what part of the monster. So I think when Mr. Incredible, or not, yeah, when Mr. Incredible's fighting the Syndrome Omnibot when he's on the island for the first time, I think that'd be a really good one to translate. But you'd have the entire family there dealing with it. So that would probably be what I would pick for my cinema to cartridge.
Dude,
All
I
right.
love that. And like as soon as you said that, I could immediately think of, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles type style where they're all like on the map going which way. And you
Yeah,
just see Elastigirl's arm stretching across the map. Yeah. That's really cool. I
yeah,
like that.
I can go next.
yeah.
So my movie here, I got a funny, weird one, and then I got like the one I'll start with. I picked the movie Heat. I thought would be like a cool, fun game to
That's
play.
awesome.
I mean,
Hell
robbing
yeah.
banks, you know. Um, and it's weird you said like Ninja Turtles because that's kind of how I've seen it too. Like you can just kind of like plan and gather like your supplies, and then also you can do kind of like a recon of like banks and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and then yeah, doing like a shootout, rob the bank, getaway type style game. I think it'd be cool.
That would be
That'd be fun
awesome.
as
I
hell.
never would have thought of Heat. That's such a good one.
That is a good one. I like that. Dude,
That is
oh,
awesome.
can we make these in the real things? Jesse,
Yeah,
call someone.
please. Yeah.
Get this going. Those both just sound awesome. I seriously want to play it. Sorry, Show. Go ahead, man.
Um, I mean, I kind of had a couple as far as transferring a movie into a game. It was hard to kind of. I guess my most obscure one was Desert Heat. Do you remember
That's
the Jean
awesome.
Claude Van Damme movie?
Oh, okay.
I love
So
that
yeah,
idea.
I haven't seen that in a
Jean,
long time.
dude, I know, right? Desert. So my idea was similar to the original Metal Gear,
Okay.
where you wake up with a gun wound, because Jean Claude's character gets shot, left for dead in the middle of the desert. He gets healed up by this, Native American dude, and then he goes out into the nearest town and gets revenge on a bunch of drug dealing buttholes or whatever, Jean Claude Van Damme style. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, it would just be like that, but the bad it would be like, hiding behind the counters at the diner while the bad guys are shooting, across the screen. um I don't know why that one in particular. I just thought like, okay, cartridge, 80s, 90s, like
I picture
late 80s, or can you see? I
Yeah.
mean, you can see it,
Yeah.
right? And then like
Yeah.
Yes.
even in the shitty 16-bit cutscenes, he's on his motorcycle with a dust cloud driving across the desert. You know what I mean? Like you get it, you get it. The other one, which I know I brought up in the past, or we've mentioned at least in the past, but another just cool situation that I would think would make an awesome uh, cartridge game, Deep Rising. Tell me
Oh my
being
god.
trapped on a cruise ship with a spooky ass monster crawling through the pipes, danger lurking around every corner, and having a Contra style Gatling gun. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Like it just like that
Hell
whole
yeah.
scenario was like, yeah, you're begging for semi teenage mutant ninja turtles with the swimming levels trying to defuse the bombs or whatever, but Contra style, like just shooting across the screen. Like I don't know, I dumped way too many
Yeah.
quarters into a Contra machine
There's
as a
tentacles
kid, so
everywhere, man.
Like
yeah.
I could see like a ship, like a screen that the ship walls got holes in it, and then tentacles come out, and you gotta time your shots and like shoot the tentacles.
In my
Yes.
head, for some reason, I keep seeing the USS Anne from the original Pokemon games, where supposedly Mew was hidden under the truck. It never was, by the way. That was just an old school, like pre-internet rumor. But yeah, like you're saying, the ship, the digital bit graphics, like I don't know. That whole scenario, I'm just like, yeah, that would make a really cool, like platform level shoot 'em up
Yeah.
style survival game.
Uh, I had a couple other ones. I won't go over all of them. I'll just pick this last one as my honorable mention. Uh, I don't know why they didn't make an awesome uh, goofy movie into like a 16-bit, you know, and like so I would just picture it just being like your classic, platforming, going up and collecting stuff. But you'd have like your Bigfoot level where you're like running from Bigfoot, he's coming after you. But the only reason I wanted this really for like a cartridge game is I imagine the ending boss fight would just be like a 16-bit version of Rock Band where you just got to time your button
The
presses
power
to the
line.
music and you're doing power line dance moves. And I thought
Hell
that'd be the
yeah.
best. And then the ending, it'd be like the 16-bit wall, and it's like you and Roxanne just fucking bumping uglies.
um,
And you just earned yourself a band.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
man.
I got a band.
so I only came up with one. Again, I already mentioned this movie, but The Fifth Element. Again, it's my guilty pleasure. A
Multipass.
console I went with is Genesis. Genre I went with shoot 'em up. And the main level that sticks out to me would be Corbin and Leilu getting chased by the police in the hover cars, and like they're in the taxi, you got the police. So the way I look at it is like the taxi's here going along, you got the police back here shooting at you. You have to dodge the bullets, but on top of that, you got incoming cars which you have to dodge.
Yeah.
So one thing I threw in is like you dodge one of these cars, it crashes into the police car, and then a bubble comes out from the taxi that says "Bada boom" or
Yeah.
something, just in that reference.
Yeah.
But also had thinking like, say like you got hit a couple times, you randomly see a McDonald's cup floating, and you hit into that, and you get like more armor or a boost to get
Yeah.
away from the police. But the
That's a good
second
idea.
scene of that is it kind of cuts, and you're like in a first person, like where they go down into the fog, and you have to just dodge these cars like crazy in order to make it to the fog.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what levels. And then my boss fight was fighting against Zorg, and he's got that Zorg CF1 pod machine gun. He's on some kind of platform, but you're playing as Corbin, and you've just got those spike grenades, and you got to try and hit the platform and blow him off of it in order to just like kind of move past.
That's a good idea.
I like
That's
Yeah, I
all
awesome.
want
these.
all
Like
of our
you
games
said,
to be
yeah.
made. I want to play these.
Let's make them. I'll stream them.
We need to get in touch with some game devs. Like, this is freaking awesome. I
The
like
other
that.
one,
What's the big idea? That was really cool.
I have one more. It's a movie inside of a movie. It would be a Blunt Man and Chronic. Kind of Earthworm Jim style.
I
I
can
was
play that
thinking.
game.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun.
That's so funny. That's a good idea.
I miss Earthworm Jim.
Yeah,
Me
exactly.
too.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
make that again.
I miss Battletoads.
Miss
That makes me
Frogger.
think it would be like Toe Jam and Earl. You guys remember Toe Jam and Earl?
Yeah.
Yep.
It'd be like
Hell yeah,
that.
dude.
Man,
Hell yeah.
what
Dude,
a
these are great.
yeah, what a fun episode. I think it's our longest one yet. That means it was a
It
great
is.
movie, you know?
My part.
Yeah, it really
Yeah,
was.
yeah, lots to talk about. Sorry if I rambled at any point, but man, like I said, I had to watch the movie twice. It was just too good.
I think next week we'll beat it too. We're doing the Mummy, so
We're doing the Mummy.
I've
already watched it twice this week, just for the record.
I've watched it. Well, I've watched it once, but I started it, like fell asleep, and then finished it the next day. So
yeah, I've watched it once this week.
We'll pick this back up come next Monday. So great episode, guys.
All right.
Sounds good, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Colby, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, that's another episode of the Gunks. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate you.
See y'all.
Till next time.